Hello my curious friends. You know, right now I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that Robert Pattinson is somewhat fond of bats. I mean, he went from Twilight to playing Batman. You know, vampires, bats, Dark Knight. Though the ones from the saga were more glitter than anything, but anyway, back to the point. The trailer for the new Batman movie that stars R-Pats is dropped, and it has fans of the franchise as well as fans of the actor reeling. So what have we learned from the new Batman trailer? And why did Pattinson lie to Christopher Nolan? And how did the odds stack up for Robert to return to the Twilight franchise now that the new books are being published? Stay with me to find out before we continue, but don't forget to turn on the notifications and subscribe to our channel. Nothing that happens in 2020 will shock me anymore, trust me guys. A lot has been going on in recent months and fans of several franchises got some comebacks. But the one no one really expected was the return of Stephanie Meyer in the Twilight saga. And the existence of the novel Midnight Sun is nothing new, as the author started writing it back in 2008, but she then halted it after several chapters of unfinished manuscript were leaked online. And the book is a retelling of the famous love story of Bella and Edward, but while the Twilight series was told from Bella's point of view, this one is retold from Edward's. So this obviously has many fans excited, as they will finally get a better glimpse into the mind of Edward Cullen. The book was released on August 4th, and as you can imagine, it literally flew off the shelves. It sold millions of copies in its first week and even topped literature charts in the United Kingdom and the USA. And while the critics weren't too kind about it, it was a hit with fans who were happy to finally have a good enough reason to dust off all their Twilight merchandise. And despite the fact that back in 2013, Meyer told Variety magazine that each day she gets further away from the series, recently it seems that she's been singing a different tune. And in an online event for Books A Million, she announced that she's in a process of outlining 2 more books on the Twilight series. God, I feel like I'm reliving 2012 all over again. Just watch guys, soon it'll be socially acceptable to once again approach people and as a conversation starter just ask them whether they're Team Edward or Team Jacob. And since I already mentioned it, which team are you, my curious sippers? As more books are announced and more hype is generated around them, the fans are asking the ever-important question, will there be any movie adaptations, and will the original cast come back to reprise their roles? When it comes to the main man, Edward Cullen himself, it's very unlikely. He was famously known for hating the series, so much that after it ended, he steered away from the big franchise films. Before Twilight, there was the Harry Potter, where he played Cedric Diggory in the 4th film, but later, only other big franchises the actor signed up for is DC, which I have a lot more on, but later. So back in the peak days of Twilight, the books and movies were everywhere, and the actors were under the constant watchful eye of the press as well as the fans, and not to mention they were often mocked for their characters they were playing, mainly the vampire crew and especially Robert Pattinson. Now, he was not the only one to hide his dislike towards the films, and in a 2011 interview for Vanity Fair, the actor said that it was weird to be a part of something you don't particularly like. And in another interview, when asked if he would watch the movies if he was a casual viewer, the actor replied that he would just mindlessly hate it. But don't worry, Twihards, since then, now that the hype has died down, Robert was able to make peace with the saga and all that happened surrounding it, and in an interview with USA Today, he said that it is all lovely now that the mania is not so intense. He added that the truly scary part was being in the thick of it when everything was very intense. So if you take anything out of this guys, it is to be nice and kind to your favorite actors and singers and etc. Now, since I mentioned it at the start of the video, I'm going to assume that you are wondering why and about what did Pattinson lie to Christopher Nolan about, and also why Nolan? So let me take you back to the days that they were shooting this new movie Tenet. The new movie has a star-studded cast with the aforementioned R-Pats, Elizabeth Debicki, Kenneth Branagh, and John David Washington, the son of Denzel Washington. In true Nolan fashion, when it comes to the synopsis of the movie, things are a little bit confusing, but it does involve espionage, time travel, and the important mission of stopping World War III from breaking out. But if that alone makes sense to you, I'm sure there will be some twists that at the end will leave people scratching their heads. Remember, the director is the man that brought us Inception. The release of the film kept being pushed back due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, but US audiences should expect to see the movie on their screens as soon as September 3rd. So on to that lie, and in an interview with the Irish Times, the actor revealed that when he was to audition for the superhero movie he was filming, Tenet, however, the producers for Batman asked him to keep things on the down low, and Robert said that he found it funny as Nolan is also really secretive about everything to do with his movies, and so here he had to be all secretive about the DC movie, so the only way to do this was to lie. He told the director that he had a family emergency, and now that is a good lie as any, and usually no one really asked too much about that, but Chris, who also directed the Dark Knight trilogy, picked up on it right away, and Robert said that as soon as the words family and emergency left his mouth, the director looked at him and said, "You're doing the Batman audition, aren't you?" Well, I guess it was just that obvious, or maybe despite being an actor, Pattinson is just that bad at lying. You know, I guess we'll never know. Now on to the main event, my friends, the eagerly awaited Batman movie. Besides Rob as the main character, the cast also features Zoe Kravitz, about who we also have a video, and Colin Farrell and Andy Serkis. As far as we know, the movie will be released on September 2021. And now the trailer, so what do we know from watching it? And what clues did the creators hide in the teaser? If some of you are rolling your eyes at yet another origin story of the superhero, then I have some good news for you. It won't be one. Director Matt Reeves confirmed that the movie takes place when our hero is on his second year as the Caped Crusader, and he added that Bruce Wayne is learning how to be Batman and that he's still trying to figure out what he can do to finally change that place. So my friends, don't be surprised if you see the hero a little bit more rough with the bad guys as he figures out what his style of justice is. Reeves commented on how exciting it was for him to push away from the origin story, which has been done before on screen plenty of times, so no wonder fans want more. And he explained that it will most likely be very interesting to meet Bruce as he's in the process of becoming Batman, to see him make mistakes, and he also added that the film will explore how Wayne became known as the world's greatest detective. But it's not just the hero we will see in the process of becoming the character that we all know. Batman's nemesis will also be different than the ones that the fans are used to seeing. It's like we're seeing their origin stories as well. So for example, Selina Kyle isn't Catwoman yet. The movie will look into the part of her journey, and Oswald is not yet the Kingpin that he will later become, and in fact, he hates being called the Penguin. Oh, and by the way, yes, that is Colin Farrell. And don't worry, I didn't realize that at first either. And during the first film, the Riddler is just emerging for the first time. So knowing this, let's look at the plot of the film. So I've already mentioned that Reeves is bringing Wayne's roots back to his detective days, and Bruce will question how his family fits into the larger corruption of Gotham. Though if Reeves' story does stray away from any of the previous material, then our hero might not like the answer to that. And it's all because in one of the more creative Batman stories in recent years that came from a video game, suggests that Wayne's father, Thomas, had criminal ties to the crime lord Carmine Falcone, and since John Turturro is said to play him in the movie, maybe that is the direction in which he will head, especially since by the end, the Riddler's voice is heard telling Bruce that he's a part of this too. In one of the scenes in the trailer, we see Batman being handed a card that features owls, and that is most likely from the Riddler, but it does bring to mind another group that is worth mentioning that I'm sure that many avid fans of the DC Comics thought of. And in the DC universe, the Court of Owls are a secret cult that is made up of elite and wealthy members of Gotham, who use their status to help influence and rule the city from the shadows. The group has existed in Goth since the colonial times, and was known to kidnap child performers from the circus and train them into their own league of assassins called Talons. From the trailer, we can tell that whoever is behind all of this is not happy with the way the mayor is running things, and it would be safe to say that if the Owls weren't too happy about things, they'd make their presence known. Taking a look at the shiny new outfit worn by the hero, especially the bat logo on his chest, many are speculating that the metal bat wings that make up the famed logo are detachable and can be used as batarangs. For those who don't know, that means boomerangs, and another theory that is made from the recycled metal of a handgun and took the lives of young Bruce parents. Though those at the moment are just all theories, and we'll just have to wait to see the film to actually find out. Though it wasn't all these nods to potentially awesome and intriguing plotlines that captured the attention of fans online. Oh no, the one thing that caused fans to go crazy on social media sites such as Twitter and show off their comedic genius was Wayne's new look. As you remember from the previous films, Bruce is the typical playboy billionaire that is always dressed to the tens. Though it's nothing new that when he puts on the cape and mask, he has to put some sort of makeup under his eyes, otherwise people would recognize him too easily. And Reeves made sure to stick to that and give us the broody emo eyeliner wearing Bruce Wayne that we've always wanted. And no, I'm not kidding. He looks exactly like me when I went through my emo phase in high school. And rest assured, I'm not the only one that made that connection. The internet went completely wild for that new look. One fan on social media app Twitter made a joke by comparing the eyeliner wearing Batman to Marvel's Bucky. I mean, they are onto something here. Don't you guys agree? Another fan made a comparison between the new Bruce and My Chemical Romance's frontman Gerard Way from the Revenge era. In other words, when the band released their 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. The superhero with the new look does seem like he would be into the band, and speaking of them, several edits appeared on the app where someone would play the band's classic song Welcome to the Black Parade over the trailer. And many more fans realizing that they are now attracted to Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. And that's just from the trailer. The movie isn't even out yet. But since many are favoring him already, will his portrayal of the Caped Crusader will be as well received as that of Christian Bale? Or will it be approached with the same distance as Affleck's one? Anyway, it's clear to see that DC fans, and not only, will be sitting and impatiently waiting for the movie to come out next year. But in the meantime, what are your thoughts on the trailer? Are you a fan of Pattinson? Do you think that this movie will be able to beat all previous other ones? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. See you guys next time.